When you think about money and wisdom, the book of Proverbs almost always comes up. But what does it actually say about getting rich? Today, we're going to dive into its surprisingly complex and honestly challenging guide to what true prosperity really is. Okay, so you've probably heard this one before, right? Or something like it. It's really a cornerstone for a lot of modern ideas about prosperity. The thinking that if you're radically generous, you'll be blessed financially. You give and you get it back, maybe even more.
But is it really that simple? Is this verse like some kind of spiritual ATM, where giving is just a deposit that guarantees a bigger withdrawal later on? Well, the book of Proverbs suggests the picture is a lot bigger than that.
To really get it, we've got to start with the book's number one theme. Before Proverbs even touches on things like giving or working, it's obsessed with something else entirely: your character. The argument is that a good life isn't built on what's in your bank account, but on who you are as a person. The book is just constantly setting up these two paths, right? Contrasting kindness with cruelty, generosity with selfishness. The point isn't really about what you do in one moment, but about the kind of person you're becoming. One of these paths leads to a real reward, and the other, well, it leads to ruin. And notice the wording here. The true reward isn't tied to just giving something away. It's connected to sowing righteousness. And the gain of the wicked? It's not even real. Which kind of tells you, right? The book is talking about a totally different kind of currency than just dollars and cents.
So, if character is the foundation, what does that mean for the speed at which you get wealthy? This brings us to another huge theme. Proverbs is, let's just say, really skeptical of any get-rich-quick mentality.
I mean, look at the contrast here. The diligent person, they're making careful plans, gathering wealth little by little. But the hasty person, always rushing. They find their wealth just disappears, and they end up in trouble. The message is pretty clear. There are no shortcuts. Wow, what an image, right? Wealth that you get in a hurry is super fragile. It's like the second you think you've got a grip on it, poof, it sprouts wings and flies off like an eagle. It's a pretty intense reminder that what comes easy can go easy. But here's a really key distinction. Proverbs isn't just telling you to sit back and wait patiently. The opposite of that destructive haste is constructive diligence. And the book comes down just as hard on the other extreme: pure laziness. And this is where the book gets genuinely funny. It doesn't just condemn laziness, it completely makes fun of it. The lazy person is making up these wild, totally over-the-top excuses to not do any work. Like, come on, a lion just hanging out in the middle of the street? And it gets even more ridiculous. It gets to the point where even the simple act of feeding yourself is too much work. I mean, obviously it's an exaggeration, but it makes the point in a way you just don't forget, right? It shows how self-destructive being idle can be. So we've seen that character and diligence are everything. But what's it all for? This brings us to the most radical part of what Proverbs teaches about wealth: its real purpose. And this is where things get really deep. It stops being just practical advice and turns into this profound social obligation. So the big idea here? Social responsibility. In Proverbs, wealth isn't just for you to pile up or make yourself comfortable. It's a tool that comes with this, non-negotiable job: to take care of the vulnerable people in your community. Wow. I mean, this is one of the most powerful lines in the whole book. It takes this from being a social issue to a theological one. Basically, how you treat the poor says everything about what you think of God. To hurt them is to insult the one who made them. And then, on the flip side, if hurting the poor is an insult to God, being kind to them is framed as the ultimate investment. You're not just giving to another person, it's like you're literally lending directly to God, who personally guarantees you'll be repaid. And look, this isn't just some friendly advice. It's a command, especially for those in power. Rulers, leaders, the wealthy, they all have a specific duty to actively defend the poor, to judge fairly, and to understand what they're going through. This is the measuring stick for what it means to be truly righteous. Okay, so if getting rich isn't the point and having wealth comes with all these heavy responsibilities, what are we supposed to be aiming for? Well, near the end of the book, we get this amazing prayer that just turns the whole idea of prosperity on its head. So this writer, Agur, he offers up a prayer, but get this, it's not for power or fame or a ton of money. It's for something way, way wiser.
Okay, so first he asks for integrity, to be an honest person. And then he asks for something incredible, not riches, but not poverty either. He just asks for enough, just the food he needs for the day. I mean, how wild is that? It's a total rejection of the whole get-rich mindset. So you have to ask, why? Why say no to both wealth and poverty? I think most of us would happily take the wealth part. Well, the prayer itself tells us exactly why, and it's profound. You see, Agur totally gets human nature. He knows that if he has too much wealth, he might get arrogant and self-reliant and basically forget he even needs God. But being desperately poor can lead to desperation, tempting him to steal and dishonor his God. Both extremes are a spiritual trap. And there it is. That's the book's big definition of prosperity. It's not about having a ton of stuff, it's about having enough. It's a life that's built on integrity, on healthy relationships with God and your community. That's the real wealth. So, to bring it all back, the prosperity that Proverbs actually teaches isn't some formula to get rich. It's a roadmap to becoming a person of character, a person of diligence, and a person of deep generosity. Someone who is truly rich in all the ways that actually matter. You know, in a world that's always screaming more, 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 this ancient wisdom really challenges us to stop and think about what we're actually chasing. So it leaves us with a question. What does true prosperity really mean to you?